name's Cordy, and I know I gave it the big one saying that when we got to this stage I was going to put on a hat and all kinds of stuff like that, but what I'm actually going to do is move all of this behind a paywall on Patreon, so if you want to join me over there. That's a joke. However, what I am going to do is move my schedule down so I'm only doing one video a week and sort of put a bit more effort into it. It's also a joke. No, I think things are just going to carry on as normal, to be honest. It's a new hat, isn't it? Today's a day where I talk about modelers other than the Helix and stuff like that. Kemper just released a new beta of some drives, and my question is, are they having a laugh? When I heard that they were working on some new drives, I thought that's great, because what's in there at the moment is not a huge variety. You've got things like a DS1, which I don't really use, the green screen, which I use, a fuzz and a rat, and all of those things are not necessarily, I'd say, up to par with kind of where the Helix stuff has got recently, or the FM3. So when they said that they were working on some new drives, I was kind of excited, and then they've dropped the beta and there's a Fulltone OCD model and a Kemper drive. So, you know, two drives, and I thought, well, that's not really keeping up with the pack. As it happens, I've played around with the Kemper drive a bit, and it's actually really flexible, so that's good. And what they've done with that pedal, or that block, is to try and mimic a whole group of pedals, you know, like the Blues Breaker, the Tube Screamer, Timmy, all of these pedals, Clon, which are apparently share quite a bit of circuitry, sort of, I guess, like what the Strymon Sunset did, where they kind of lumped some pedals together in drive styles. Now obviously that's going to meet some criticism. Some people feel a way about it and others feel a certain way. Personally, I quite like what they've done, and it sounds pretty good, I think. talk a bit about whether Kemper's being left behind, and with the elephant in the room kind of looming, the Neural Quad Cortex, which essentially supposedly will be able to do everything that a Kemper can do, is their relative kind of inactivity in space going to push them out of the market? The Kemper launched in 2011, and the significant things that have happened since then, for me at least, in March of 2019 they revamped the reverbs and brought out some really nice reverbs. In October of 2016 they brought out the new delays, and in 2019, probably a few people think 8 years too late, they brought out the rig manager and the desktop editor. And that desktop editor, I don't know, I don't use it personally for much, but I think was met with some criticism, and I don't know if it's right where people want it to be at the moment anyway. So that made me look at what other people have done. The Kemper Stage came out in 2019 as well, which is essentially the Kemper but in a stage unit, as you will know. In 2019 the Strymon Iridium was launched, and since then there's been no real update to that. I guess we're coming up on a year, and I'm going to do a video kind of looking at what's happened and how I feel about the Iridium now. The Line 6 Helix was launched in 2015, the HX Stomp 2018, the Podgo at the end of 2019. I found from an Eric Klein video on the Line 6 channel all of these updates and new models and stuff that have been added since then. And I think probably they're maybe head of the pack in this, in terms of delivering updates that are kind of meaningful to the consumer. That's me or you. Axe effects have been around since 2006, so kind of at the forefront of this stuff. I guess at that time Line 6 were doing kind of different stuff around the pod. So the Axe effects came out in 2006, the Axe effects 2 came out in 2011, the Axe effects 2 XL came out in 2014, and the Axe effects 3 and the FM3 came out in 2019. And with each of those there's like a firmware upgrade. The firmware upgrades don't go all the way back though, but I think, I can't find a list anywhere, but I think they've added quite a significant amount of stuff over that time and kind of made leaps. And all of that is to say that I think if you're going to try and compete in this modeler space, probably you need to figure out this update stuff, because it is something that some of the companies are doing, like Line 6 are, and to an extent I think Fractal Audio do. I think Kemper are on a slightly different timeline to everyone else, and it feels as though, you know, if we've waited this long for an update to the drives, I don't think there's been a new drive since 2011 to release kind of 2. Maybe there are more coming with the full release of the public firmware, but it does feel a little bit like potentially there's an opportunity for someone to come in and shake things up a bit. So the Quad Cortex should be interesting to see. I think maybe it's next month it might ship. I'm on the tier 1 pre-orders. I've not been asked to pay any money for one yet, so I don't know if we're on schedule or on the new delayed schedule or what's going to happen, but I'm hoping to be able to bring one to the channel, and it's going to cost me quite a bit, but I think it might be interesting to see what it's like. What it promises to do is a lot of stuff, and you know, it promises to do most of what the Kemper does. Something that I'd really like is to be able to run kind of dual profiles, or even 4 profiles at a time, and the Quad Cortex promises to be able to do that. In terms of competing hardware wise, the Kemper for me has been perfectly stable for all of the time that I've had it, and in terms of tweakability and stuff, I really like it. I just think that things are developing potentially a little bit slow, and it feels like things are maybe getting a little bit stagnant. I don't know, maybe that's just me, maybe you have the same opinion. Anyway, the rest of the video is going to be dedicated to actually showing the Kemper drive in a few different settings. I'm really enjoying it, and I think it's also worth saying that whether or not Kemper are moving in the direction that the rest of the marketplace is or not, I think they've got their own kind of vision and seem to be making some kind of bolder choices. You know, why bring out a Kemper drive when you could bring out kind of 4 different pedals? You know, you could just say this is a blues breaker model, this is a Timmy model, and all that stuff. I think they're making kind of some bold choices, and whether that pays off or not, I'm not exactly sure, but you can still get some amazing tones out of the unit, I think. So mine's not going anywhere as yet. Thank you for stopping by, and also thank you for the support. And if you like this sort of video and want to see me comparing some of these things and talking about modelers, then you could always like and subscribe and leave a comment. Also, I guess leave a comment below evaluating what you think Kemper is up to. Have I missed any of the key updates that they brought out? Potentially I have. I feel like some of the other units have moved a bit further in shorter time than the Kemper has. Whether that's true or not, I'm not entirely sure. It's just a feeling that I have, but let me know in the comments. Thank you for stopping by. And also, you can get my Kemper profiles in the description if you want. They're all in a bundle. It's got my overtone special, some Nomad profiles, my Electrodyne special, which is the clean sound that you're hearing in this video, and I'm keeping on kind of profiling stuff as I go, but hopefully you'll find some tones in there that you dig. But thank you for stopping by. Cheers.
Oh,